So this is the topic. Close better deals by developing emotional intelligence. What I'm gonna share specifically is what is, first of all, emotional intelligence? Why is it important for freelancers? And then we are gonna start to use or to develop emotional intelligence by connecting first with our mental voice and emotional state. And then we are going to go deeper into actually removing some of the blocks that we have, such as doubts or anxiety, while dealing with clients. So we are going to do a three-step technique process or three-steps technique to clear those doubts before actually dealing with the clients. And then this will allow us to have much better communication with our clients and to carry on successful negotiations. All right. So this is definitely for people who want higher level of confidence, sometimes doubt themselves or hesitate about their decisions. People who want to have better self-management. So sometimes at the end of the day, you might realize that you are all stressed out and you wonder why is this happening? I don't want to be like this. And so you want more self-management. Then people who want to feel more calm, to be more at peace and to be, of course, like I said before, much more confident during these negotiations. And that this state of calmness and confidence allow them to land better clients. Okay. So let's start. Emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the ability to understand, use, and manage your own emotions in a positive way to relieve stress, communicate effectively, empathize with others, overcome challenges, and diffuse conflicts. So it's basically we want to get in touch with our emotions and use them to be better at managing stressful situations and to turn them around into opportunities for success. Mm-hmm. Emotional intelligence has basically four components or four dimensions. The first one is self-awareness. And in this one, it's when you recognize your own emotions and you see how they affect your thoughts and consequently as well your behavior. In this phase, you know your weaknesses as well as your strengths, and you look at yourself in a very objective way. This allows to nourish self-confidence. Mm-hmm. Then, once you are aware of yourself, you can start to recognize when you have emotions that are impulsive, like that are strong and that make you react in ways that you don't want. Mm-hmm. So then you start to develop self-management, which is basically to control impulsive feelings and adapt to changing circumstances. So you don't want to look stressed, you want to look calm and confident. Then this, when it is expanded to other people, we can start to understand the emotions, needs, and concerns of other people. This, of course, including our clients. It is not limited to clients. Once the skill is on, you can use it anytime with any person. And this allows to have better relationships through better relationship management. So you know how to develop and maintain good relationships, to communicate clearly, to influence, to inspire others. This is why emotional intelligence is being such important skill to develop for leaders, because ultimately leaders who have a vision, they want more people to join into this vision. And this is not by force, but by inspiration. Now, during this masterclass, we are gonna dive as deeply as possible into the first two. Starting, of course, with self-awareness, and then to go into self-management, because we cannot develop self-management without having self-awareness, and we cannot inspire others without being self-aware. So it's basically a step-by-step process. So we will start with self-awareness. Okay. So why is it important? Researchers have found that mental ability accounts only for 10.9% of entrepreneurial success. Just 10.9. We think that people who are successful entrepreneurs, they are like, they know everything, at least their minds who runs the show. But actually, that's not true. They found that emotional intelligence actually accounts for 89.1% of that success. So entrepreneurship, we as freelancers, we are like in the first stages of entrepreneurship because you become your own boss, you have your own clients. It's like the whole process relies on you. So this is much more about how you deal with yourself than the things that you know. And I will give you a very quick example. You can attend a lot of master classes and a lot of courses related to how to close a client. And there are very specific steps to follow. But if you don't trust yourself and if you are nervous while talking, then it won't work out, right? So that is why it is much more important to develop self-awareness and emotional intelligence. Then you lose probably more than 30% of your cognitive capacity. So this basically your ability to think clearly when you are stressed, angry, anxious, or emotionally affected by a situation. So this is like when we are stressed, we overthink or we cannot think clearly. So we are actually not creative. We are just trying to calm down, find a quick escape, but our ability to create, to negotiate, to do something beautiful, a project that you really like, a project that you are really involved, all of that is gone because it's just the fear coming up. And the other part, why is so important, is that actually communication is 7% just the spoken words. Then 38% is the tone of your voice, and 55% is basically body language. So sometimes we focus too much about the things that we want to say, or the steps, the questions that we need to follow. But actually, that is just 7%. It's like it's almost nothing. Then 38%, the tone of your voice, which is actually a reflection of how confident you feel at that moment. And then this reflects in your body language. If you are with your arms closed and sitting like, I don't want to be seen, and then you try to have a conversation like that, then you are perceived as not trustworthy, even though you might be saying things that are very, very valuable. So I want you to do a very quick self-evaluation, all right? So this, you can have a piece of paper or just in your computer, put it in notes and evaluate. How stressed or anxious do you feel before speaking with a potential client? From 1 till 5. 1 can be like you feel that your heart beating races, you are a little bit nervous. 2 can be that maybe you are sweating your hands. 3 can be like you start to shake and you cannot control your body movements. 4 can be like shortness of breath or that your throat gets blocked. And 5 is like nausea. I cannot deal with this situation. I need to like go out. All right, that's great. Now, how confident do you feel during negotiations? Let's say 1 is that you hesitate every word you want to say. And number 5 is like you just lead the conversation fluently, don't overthink, you are just like really in the flow. Just grade yourself between those 5. And the last one is, how fast can you get rid of your stress? 1 is like, I can't. I don't know how to do it until I have a drink. Or 5 is just, I feel stressed, I know how to manage it, and I move, I flip it. I put myself in a state of confidence and total power. Okay? Now, that is your evaluation, self-evaluation. We are going to work in the preparation before the meeting, before talking with clients. Let's notice that when we feel stressed, our mind is affected and we start to overthink. So have you ever, I'm gonna stop sharing. Okay. So have you ever been so stressed that you cannot fall asleep? No, I think we all live that at some moments in our lives. So this means that even though we are trying to make a solution in our mind, and probably we have many different scenarios, or we are convinced we have the one that is going to be the solution, we still feel worried. We don't know if we don't know exactly what is going to happen. We are in a state of uncertainty, and then we try to calm down, but we can't. So that's why the mind just keeps thinking, okay, how can I solve it? How can I solve it? How can I solve it? But like I said, you are not really creative in this state of stress. It's just basically coming the same story again and again and again, or the fatalistic scenarios come. I know the good one and the most optimistic and the one that you actually want. So this is actually how your emotional state starts to affect your thoughts. Make sense? Now, we sometimes don't identify it very quickly, but we start to have thoughts like, oh, is it gonna be good? I'm not so sure. Maybe it's better that way. I don't like to have these conversations. So all those thoughts reflect that your emotional state is not peaceful and is not that you are not in a confident state. But the problem is that when you start to repeat this again and again and again and again, these become like inner blocks or become beliefs. It's like this idea that you are not good dealing with clients or dealing with these situations or expressing yourself fluently with them. And then it's like, oh, no, I like the same thought comes again and again and again and again and again. And then it becomes a limiting belief. Even if we don't want to think that way, in the back of our head, there is this little voice that is still there. But we need to be aware that it's not only the thought. It is the thought and also the emotion. So basically, I'm going to share my, voila. So basically, limiting beliefs are the combination of a thought and an emotion. They can be positive, like positive self-belief, or they can be negative. But usually when we think, oh, I'm worried, I don't know if it's going to work out, the emotion is not confident, right? Emotion is usually fear. Fear is very similar to a stress, because in fear is, I don't know what is going to happen. And when we are worried, when we are under stress, it's the same. We don't know what is going to happen. It's like thinking about the future. I don't know what is going to happen. I cannot see it. I want to go in one direction, but maybe it will go in totally another direction. And then I'm going to lose my client. Yeah. And we don't want that. We want to close them. We want to have better clients. So now I want you to reflect. I want you to answer this question. So, what are your thoughts and emotions before talking with potential clients? You don't need to share it in the chat. Of course, if you want, you can, but you can just keep it for yourself. And voila. So to answer this question is going to be easier if we do an exercise. One is the first impression that we have about what we think or how we feel. But we can actually go deeper and awaken those thoughts and emotions when we imagine we are in that situation. So let's do an exercise. All right. I want you to remember the last time you had a conversation with a client, or one of your worst negotiations with a client. Just the last one, or a very bad communication, a very bad conversation, very bad negotiation you had with one. And think about it and try to remember what were your thoughts and what was your emotional state, how you were feeling. Do you have it? Is it easy to connect with it? Do you remember? Sometimes it's not so easy, yeah? Okay, so maybe let's rephrase it. What are your thoughts and your emotions when you are about to talk with a client, potential client? How do you feel? What do you think? That's good. Can you identify that maybe you have some thoughts that are positive and other thoughts that are not, not so positive, like a little bit more with doubt and hesitation? Do you have that? Great. That's very good, because actually that's self-awareness. We are aware of the positive aspects of ourselves, our strengths, and our weaknesses. That's good. Now, something that we try to do very frequently is to avoid our weaknesses by overcompensating our strengths. That can work, but that actually doesn't give you the sensation of, peace or just feeling confident, because you know that that little thing that you are worrying about is still there, and you are hoping that your client is not going to talk about it or is not going to mention it, and your client is completely unaware about it, but in your mind you have your own conflict. That's right. So it is important that you are self-aware. Okay, now I am aware that I have this insecurity, that I don't feel so comfortable. All right. But now how do I manage it? And that's the second phase of emotional intelligence, self-management. And to do that, we are going to do an exercise to connect with that emotion, which is negative, which is hesitation, which is about worry, and actually to turn it into being calm, into being confident. All right? How does that sound? You ready for it? Okay, great. So it's important that you feel comfortable, that you sit comfortable, so your focus can be entirely inside. All right. And you can keep your eyes closed or open. You can choose, but if you close your eyes, it's going to be easier to connect with yourself, because your focus is not on me watching on the screen, is not listening your surroundings. It's going to be easier just to listen to your thoughts. Oh my God, maybe you will not like it. Maybe you will. But we need to develop that self-awareness. So if you're courageous, just close your eyes and connect with yourself. Great. Now, imagine that you are going to have a conversation with a client. Can be a new client or can be recurring client, a new conversation. And pay attention to the insecurities, to the hesitation that you have. Pay attention to the things that make you feel worried. And bring all of that. Let it come. At the beginning, it's not really comfortable and it's not really pleasant, because we actually try to avoid it. But like we said before, trying to avoid it all the time doesn't make it disappear. It stays there and doesn't allow you to feel confident. So just take a moment to be aware of what worries you, what insecurities you have. That's good. And now I want you to focus on how it feels. Pay attention to the area of your abdomen, maybe your chest, your throat. How does it feel to be worried? And give it some minutes, just 2 minutes, to embrace the feeling. I'm worried. Just accept it, surrender to it. Don't fight it, don't justify it, nothing. Just embrace. And calm down your mind. Your focus is not on your thoughts. Your focus is on how you feel. That's good. And then maybe you feel a little bit disappointed because the conversation, previous conversations didn't go as you wanted. And you don't want to go again into the same problem. So there's a little bit of disappointment, and we embrace that as well. Great. Now, softly, just let it go. Don't nourish in your mind that memory. Just let it go, relax, and rest. And we will do a super fun exercise. Imagine that you are a happy face emoji, you know, like the ones you send to WhatsApp. Just imagine. And yeah, maybe it's a very silly exercise, but just feel happy. At the beginning, it might be a little bit challenging because we were focusing on something else, but now we are strengthening our ability to change our emotional state. Okay. And I want you to smile. Just smile. Show your teeth. Doesn't matter that you didn't brush your teeth. Just a smile. Yeah, that's great. Smile. Awesome. Now take a deep breath. And softly open your eyes and come back. Great. Voila. So now we actually practice both self-awareness and self-management. So we are a little bit more emotionally intelligent now than before. Great. Then how will this help you to have better negotiations? When you are calm, you can listen better. You can see really what are the needs of your client. To keep it in a simple way, I'm going to share it in this, the flow of successful negotiations. So basically, you want to connect first with your client. So how are you? Where are you calling from? Now we are doing all the negotiations via Zoom. So it's like normal to ask, where are you calling from? So a small chat, connecting. And then it is important to take the lead. It is important to say, okay, this conversation is going to go like this. I'm going to ask you some questions. And then if I am able to help you, I will explain what I have to offer and how it works. So it is not immediately selling. It is listening first. So understand the current situation of your client. What is basically current situation is not only the things that your client is struggling with, but also the entire environment that your client is in. And then from that, you start to dig into the pain points. Digging into the pain points will allow the person to realize, oh, okay, I haven't thought about that. Yeah, maybe this, maybe that. And we are not solving anything. We are just knowing, gathering information. The better the information we have, the better the decision we can make regarding whether we are able to help them or not, and if we are, how actually we are going to help them. So this is happening in the negotiation. And then it is important to know where they want to go, like what is the outcome. So probably you want to deliver everything since the very first session and say, oh yeah, I can take you from 0 to 100, but maybe your client doesn't want to go to 100. Maybe your client just wants to go to 10. And that is completely okay. So it's going to be much more relevant for you and for him to talk about how to get from 0 to 10 than how to get from 10 to 100. So you become more powerful in what it is important and what is relevant. And then, of course, when you are able to help, you say, okay, this is my area of expertise. And you use actually the words, the phrases that your client uses to communicate and to transmit better what you do in their own words. So you state your offer, and by the end of the call or by the end of the negotiation, your client will be will feel first much more connected, and in their mind is going to be like, oh yeah, this person really understands me and really knows how to get me to where I want to go. I should work with this person. Right? Make sense? Good. So self-evaluation. I know that the time is short, but I hope that in this masterclass, you have been able to change a little bit the perception about yourself, and your self-awareness and your self-management improved. So a little bit going back into the first questions. How stressed and anxious you think you will feel before speaking with a potential client? Second, how confident will you feel during negotiations? And how fast will you get rid of your stress? If the number, your evaluation is the same number, that's okay. But if something inside of you says like, maybe I can start to feel more confident, there's a way I can do it, then your perception starts to change, and then this number will move more and more to the right and better. Okay, so that's it.